Thank you, Chairman. I want to combine 11 and 13 together because they're connected. They're both about towns in my constituency of Carlow, Kilkenny. And I want to ask the Minister what steps he is taking to improve broadband and connectivity services in Graignaman and Ullingford. They're the two towns I'm talking about.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Aylward. And I do propose to take both questions 11 and 13 together. In respect to the two townlands referred to by the Deputy in question, according to my department's high-speed broadband map, available at broadband.gov.ie, the majority of premises in the townlands of Graignaman and Urlingford in County Kilkenny are in the blue area. These areas of the map are where commercial operators are already delivering or have plans to deliver high-speed broadband services. In Graignaman, this includes some 461 premises, or 88% of those premises in the townland. In Urlingford, 537 premises, or 98% of the premises in that townland are in the blue area. The remaining premises, which total 60 premises in Graignaman and 30 premises in Urlingford, are in the amber area on the high-speed broadband map. Premises in the amber area will be provided with high-speed broadband through the state-led intervention. When this government came to office, only 53% of premises in Kilkenny had access to high-speed broadband. On completion of the EIR's rural fibre deployment, this will increase to 63% of premises in Kilkenny. For those premises currently awaiting access to high-speed broadband service, practical initiatives will continue to be addressed through the positive work of the Mobile Phone and Broadband Task Force. The Task Force has worked to address specific issues impacting upon the delivery of mobile phone and broadband services and have overseen the delivery of a number of key solutions already. Under this task force, engagement between telecommunications operators and local authorities through broadband officers is continued to strengthen. These broadband officers are acting as single points of contact in local authorities for their communities. The appointment of these officers is already reaping rewards in terms of ensuring a much greater degree of consistency in engagements with operators and clearing obstacles to developing infrastructure. The Department of Rural and Community Development maintain a list of broadband officers, a link to which is available on my department's website. I have explained to the House in response to earlier questions the procurement process to appoint a bidder for the National Broadband Plan State Intervention Network is now in the final stage. Evaluation of the final tender submission is ongoing and will be allowed the time required.
Thank you very much, Minister. Deputy.
Minister, all right about colours and speaking about colours and everything, but in Ullingford requires urgent state intervention. A significant area of the townland is covered by commercial operators, but some areas which are crucial to the local economy, such as Ullingford Business Park, are awaiting state intervention through the National Broadband Plan. There is a new nursing home due to open in the park which will cater for 90 patients and will employ up to 90 people. There will also be a designated Alzheimer's unit with 30 additional beds and up to 60 additional staff, as intensive care needs of the nature are 2 to 1. The fact will obviously require high-speed service and facilitate a modern system for meals, medication lists and treatment plans. My information is that there are going to be 3 full-time staff designated to data output alone. Without adequate broadband, they will have a state-of-the-art facility with a Stone-Age technology infrastructure. Can you liaise with the major service providers on the ground to ensure temporary solutions found to facilitate high-speed service pending the delays with state subvention to the National Broadband Plan? Ullingford is like many areas of Kilkenny which require high-speed broadband service to facilitate the business in situ and their employees. Improved service will also stimulate local economy growth, attract further business and create more jobs in our rural and regional towns.
And you will have final minutes.
In relation to Urlingford, I think it's actually a good example for colleagues, and that is that 98% of premises, that's all bar 13 premises in Urlingford, are in the blue area, which means they have access or plan to have access to a minimum of 30 megabits per second download speeds and 6 megabits per second upload speeds. Now, I accept that there are premises around the country, and they could include some of the ones that have been mentioned by the Deputy earlier, that are not getting those speeds, but they are designated as dark blue on our database. If that is the case, and as you know, I addressed colleagues in the audiovisual room a couple of years ago, pleading with colleagues to feed that information back to us at broadband@dccae.gov.ie. So if they are blue on that map and they are not receiving that minimum level of service, whether they're in Urlingford or in Lucan or any other part of the country, we need to know that so we can amend the plan and ensure that they do get access through the state intervention phase of this project.
Final minute, Deputy.
Minister, again, I accept your saying, but my information, that's why I'm here asking the question today, is that in Urlingford and in Graiguenamanagh, I'm going to speak about Graiguenamanagh now, is the service is not there. It's all right speaking about coloured areas and blue areas and everything else. If the service is not there for new business that are coming into these towns, rural areas, rural towns that need this business, need the broadband. That's the most important thing. Look, the same thing, I can go through the same thing in Graiguenamanagh, I can speak the same language as I spoke about Urlingford. It's not happening on the ground. When it will happen to boost these businesses, to boost these towns and give them an open chance in what is a very strict times after recession and the other, trying to rebuild themselves. And I'm asking you, talk about colours and everything else is one thing, rollout is important, and that's the question I want to ask you. When will it be there? When will the service be available to people in Graiguenamanagh and Urlingford? And I'm talking about all that. I suppose the whole country could talk, but that's what I'm asking the question about.
Thank you, Deputy. Final comment, Minister.
Look, Deputy Aylward, look, I fully understand the frustration that's there. And look, we're all experiencing that on a daily basis right across our constituencies at present, where people are hugely frustrated with the lack of access to broadband. You dismiss the colour coding, but the colour coding is important in relation to the build-out of this network. So it is important that if they're not getting that service, that they are coded as amber on it. And I would ask you to make sure that those premises are not designated as dark blue, because we need to make sure that they do get broadband. In relation to the build-out of the National Broadband Plan, what we're initially doing is rolling out 300 broadband connection points, and these will be access hubs right across this country that will have public accessible, including free public Wi-Fi and hot desks, so people have access to a service within the community pending the actual physically build out to each and every home, and we're determined to make sure that every home gets access to high-speed broadband.